Go.
Are we live?
Yeah.
There was no sound, no nothing. I'm just sitting here. But you know what's not going to happen today? We're probably not going to have any cutouts either. But you guys got to see a nice. I mean, how long was that? Was that like 5 seconds of dead Tim?
Yeah.
There we go. Hey,
You're doing great.
it's
You're
a
doing
special
great.
show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. This has been the best intro of all times. We got a lot to discuss because Donald Trump has gone big. He's gone and bought 2 altcoins, both Chainlink and AAVE. Are they the next ones to pump massively? Well, ever since that happened, things have been dropping. We've been telling you guys for the last couple of days that there seemed like there was something fishy, that a bigger move to the downside could be coming. Are you seeing the beginning moves of that happening right now? You do not want to miss a single second of the show. Towards the end, we will talk about the 5 coins, not the 5, but 5 coins that still have 10x potential left in them. So if you're looking for some major gains, you do not want to miss the end of today's episode. But first, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and we got to roll the intro. Oh, there's no sound. Wow. Yeah, so there was no sound leading into it. I never saw the countdown. I just hear T-Shroom say, go. What happened there, Smanel? How
no
you doing
sound.
today?
You can't hear it.
I
I
did
can
not-
hear it just fine.
I did not hear the intro. I couldn't hear anything. And I didn't see it either. It didn't. I just looked at T-Shroom's.
I think you guys are trying to gaslight me because I heard the whole thing every time. All right.
You're right.
I heard it. All right. You guys tried to pull one on me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, hey, as long as we don't cut out every 6 minutes, I'm okay. We just might need a verbal cue next time about Tim. We are live.
We trade one thing for another. You know, that's just the nature of life. Nothing is a smooth road.
Oh, it's good stuff. T-Shroom, happy belated birthday. You are now 30 years and 1 day old. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, better than I deserve, Tim. And it's nice to think that somebody out there was able to use Donald Trump as exit liquidity, because somebody had to sell the Chainlink and AAVE to Donald Trump and his World Liberty token project, and I just think that that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, we talked about it in our membership community earlier today, our VIP trading group. We literally said, hey, watch out for this Donald Trump ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. I know T-Shroom went live for that this morning. We talked about, hey, look out for a pump and followed by a move to the downside. A lot of times things like that seem to have the surface of bullishness end up becoming bearish. You guys would have heard that if you were in our VIP trading group. Make sure you'll check it out. Links down below. But let's get into it. Let's talk about what's happening in the crypto space. Let's go ahead and share my screen and take a look at these bubbles. As I mentioned, some of the biggest movers of the day, they're going to be a little blocked here. But you got Chainlink up 13%. Earlier, this was over 20%. I think it got to 21% or so on Chainlink being a green bullish bubble. AAVE's the other big one, of course, with the news that Trump is buying it. We're going to talk about that and break it down here in just a couple of minutes. But that's up 24. This was 30% to the upside earlier today. Some other big movers like AVAX and Lido, Maker. These are all big movers. Optimism has something going big today. But one of the things I noticed, Chainlink holders, we have been talking about for a long time that we thought Chainlink would make its way into the top 10 sooner than later. Well, it had been hovering down towards 15. It made some big moves here in the last 24 hours. It's now coin number 12, only a couple $1 billion behind AVAX. Will we be right? Will Chainlink make its way into the top 10, surpass AVAX being one of the ones it jumps? Let us know in the chat, in the comments. Do you think that is doable? Let's go to the charts now and go and break down what's happening over there. Bitcoin. We're going to start off with Bitcoin. We got some news here today. We got some coins we want to take a look at. A couple of coins you guys asked about yesterday, but due to all the glitches, we couldn't do technical analysis on. We're going to cover a lot of that today. But Bitcoin, this is the one we're watching. 1 hour chart. Big bearish candle here between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We dropped from 101,000, give or take, all the way down below 100,000. We haven't been below 100,000 for a couple of days now. well, I say a couple of days. We haven't been below for 2 days. I don't know why I was looking at the 1 hour chart trying to depict that. We have now had multiple days. Here's what I do want to say. We have had multiple days close the daily candle above 100,000. But T-Shroom, look at what's happening here. This is the next big step. It's great to close above, but you got to close. I'm sorry, it's great to open. Excuse me. We've great to open a day and close a day there, but we need to open and close above that 100K level, something we did not do. Of course, we closed December 8th. Up here at 101, but the very next day had a big drop to the downside where we wicked all the way down to $94,000. Well, big bullish candle yesterday, closed up around the same exact level, around 101,000. Are we starting to see potentially something do the same? We've told you for the last couple of days to be aware that there are still markers out here that we could be making larger moves to the downside, especially when you take a look at the 2 daily chart where we had a sell signal here just a couple of days ago. This red reversal, bearish divergence, bearish momentum, and this negative money flow are all signs that we probably should head to the downside. Again, if you go back to the last bull market, this had a 75% probability that we would at least visit the 2 daily smart trail. Well, that smart trail, it's still rising at the moment. Kind of hard to see because it blends in with my blue box right here. But this smart trail is one of the key levels of support. We are looking for a pullback. Those levels are watching between 88,500 down here towards 84,000. This is something we're still keeping an eye on for a move to the downside. You're also going to see that we had been trading here. If I go to the 4 hour chart, it's going to make it look a little bit better here. We have been trading in a rising channel. You guys see these blue parallel lines. This is good, setting higher highs and higher lows for a little while. But unfortunately, this formation more often than not communicates a constriction in trend, a loss in bullishness, and you usually end up breaking and coming down. Well, the kind of opening of this formation based off where we could break out does suggest Bitcoin still could visit down here below $90,000. Of course, another thing we're keeping an eye on is the fact that, yes, we're extended up high, but we're always aware of liquidation levels. We're always looking to see, what does the composite man want to do? What do they want to see happen? And what I'm looking at right now is we have hundreds of millions of dollars of liquidations that would be taken out if we drop down here towards, or maybe even a little below, 85,000. So that's why we still have that target, that zone between 88 and 85 is still on the watching table. Does that mean it's definitely going to happen? No, there's a lot of support between us and those levels, but it is something absolutely that we want to be mindful of. It's something we want to keep an eye on for the next couple of weeks. I also don't love right now kind of the sloppiness and the choppiness of Bitcoin's price movements. This is not anything like what we have seen recently with big breakout moves. Consistent higher highs and higher lows with explosive movements and high volume has been something we've been watching ever since the November breakout, or sorry, the September breakout when we hit major support. But here more recently, if I were to go out, let's go back out to the daily chart here to take a look at this. It does look like the volume. You guys see this yellow line down here in the lower volume? Blocking it a little bit. That volume is starting to teeter off a little bit. That to me is communicating a little bit of a pullback still should be on the table. So we're going to continue to monitor this day in and day out. Sometimes I feel like I'm a broken record talking about the Bitcoin chart, but this is something you guys need to be aware of, is that even though we've been rallying here, we're not making the big moves to the upside that we need to talk about brand new all-time highs, 120K, 150K. All of that will come. It's not that it won't come. It's that we are not quite ready for it right now. And you need to continue to prepare yourself that a lower move is on the table and very well might happen over the next little bit to end the year. That being said, 2025 is going to take off with a bang because we're going to shoot to the upside on Bitcoin, on altcoins. But for now, I want you to remain calm, to remain vigilant, watch the charts. And if you're lucky and you've been storing away some dry powder, you might have a very good purchase here below 90,000 very, very soon. T-Shroom, all of that's what we're seeing on the charts, but let's talk about what's happening in the news. We got some bullish stories here coming out of Texas to start us off. What's happening over in Texas when it comes to Bitcoin?
Yeehaw! Let's get into it here, Tim. Texas State Representative Giovanni C. officially files bill to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the state. This is very bullish, and it is in keeping with what we're seeing in all over the world as countries and other U.S. states file bills to create strategic Bitcoin reserves. So this one's pretty bullish. Tim, are you at all surprised that Texas is moving in this direction?
No, I mean, the truth is this news should not be shocking to anyone. The fact that they're announcing that it's being approved is kind of like, oh, I thought it was already approved because everyone in Texas just loves Bitcoin so much. But it's great to hear it's approved. It's great to see it further go. What I want to start seeing is other states. I know it's on the docket for Florida. I believe a couple other states definitely here in the South are looking at it, and a couple in the Midwest are looking at approving it. But Texas, not the shocker that they're actually creating their own Bitcoin reserve.
Absolutely. Well, moving on. BlackRock just cannot get enough Bitcoin. They've been buying a lot of it, and they want you to do the same. BlackRock says up to 2% Bitcoin allocation is reasonable range. This from a Bloomberg news report here that essentially says exactly that. Giving Bitcoin a 1 to 2% weighting would produce a similar risk profile to the so-called Magnificent 7 technology stocks in a standard 60-40 portfolio of stocks and bonds. According to BlackRock Investment Institute paper released Thursday, that's a reasonable range, that 1 to 2% range. To devote to Bitcoin as anything beyond 2% would sharply increase crypto's share of overall portfolio risk, the paper said. So that is, according to BlackRock, an appropriate amount. Let me know in the chat. Do you have more than 2% allocated to Bitcoin and crypto? And if so, what coins do you hold? Tim, are you holding more than 2% Bitcoin?
I am holding more than 2% Bitcoin. Are you talking about 2% of my total net worth? The answer is yes. You know about more than 2% of my total crypto portfolio? The answer is yes. So all around, yes. I just don't know what the question was exactly.
I love it. I think you answered it, and I think everybody can kind of deduce from our vantage point how much crypto we enjoy having. I've got one more miscellaneous headline here. I think it'll fit in well here if you'll go to my screen. President Trump invites China's President Xi to his inauguration. That is some breaking news for today from CBS. This will be an interesting one to watch because, China and American relations are definitely critical for the future of markets to remain stable. I definitely want to be able to see China and America continue to trade. And if anybody's going to get it done, it's going to be the Trumpster. So we shall see what ends up happening with that one. But that's going to do it for Bitcoin news. Let us know. Did we miss anything? Let us know in the chat, in the comments below. Did you hear anything about Bitcoin that excited you that you'd like us to cover here on the Investing Bros?
Yeah, make sure go ahead and smash those likes, hit subscribe. We're going to continue on with the show. We got some altcoin news coming out here. T-Shroom, let's continue on the news, and then we're going to get into some charts here later on in the show, do some Q&A as well, so stick around for the entire thing. But what do you got for us in other forms of news today?
All right, well, we're going out of Bitcoin and into altcoins, but we're taking Trump along with us here. Trump's World Liberty is buying Ethereum, Chainlink, and AAVE. In the past 9 hours, the World Liberty multi-sig wallet spent $10 million to buy Ethereum, 2,631 Ethereum, and 41,335 Chainlink, as well as 3,357 AAVE, all amounting to about $10 million. And then there also was an update to this.
I will say it looks like 10 million was spent just on Ethereum. He likes Ethereum a lot. 1 million on Chainlink and then 1 million on AAVE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So a total of 12 million is what it's looking like here. But what's the update you see there?
That's right. And then there was an update I read that they went ahead and bought a lot more Ethereum. I don't want to misquote, but there was another purchase of Ethereum that was also pretty high. So buying the king of altcoins, Ethereum, and the other two, AAVE, which he already has associated himself with the project because it is a DeFi project and they're using a lot of the AAVE infrastructure to operate. But Chainlink is a new addition, I believe, to their holdings. I think they may have had a little bit, but it is not a new addition to the World Liberty Fi ecosystem because they have already announced that they'll be using Chainlink as their oracle, essentially. So, this is a match made in heaven if you are a holder of Ethereum, Chainlink, or AAVE, of which if you've been watching the Investing Bros, these are all names that we talk about at length, especially Chainlink. We're big Link Marines here at the Investing Bros. So it's great to see getting picked up by one of the world's most famous people President Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's very interesting. I saw an article the other day that says that Trump owns more Ethereum than he owns Bitcoin. And I think it was being utilized as like saying like, oh, that's why you need to be bullish on Ethereum. I responded to it over on X. I said, I'm not trying to FUD Ethereum here. I hold a bag of Ethereum, love Ethereum. Ethereum's great. Let's not pretend. I mean, all this, we're talking about the bullishness of him owning Chainlink and AAVE. I don't think Donald Trump is the person making these decisions. But let's even talk about his portfolio and what he owns. I am so happy with the direction he's going. A couple of years ago, he's talking about how he hates Bitcoin. He likes the US dollar. He has come a long way.
Yep.
No one should be confused or thinking that Donald Trump knows what he's doing when it comes to cryptocurrency just yet and what his portfolio should look like, right? He is not a crypto portfolio expert by any means. Also, if you're looking at why he owns so much Ethereum, he sold a bunch of NFTs. Some of you guys will remember. They went viral. A lot of them sold out within minutes when he released them. Well, what did he sell them in? He sold them in Ethereum. So there's some details there before you become just crazy bullish on Ethereum on Trump news alone.
Right.
I, as much as I admire the fact that we now have a president who's going to support, defend, and promote cryptocurrencies, I do not look at him as a beacon of intelligence when it comes to the crypto markets as to what my portfolio should look like. So I want to make sure everyone's kind of sitting in that same boat of like saying, all right, love he's bullish, but he's got to learn. He's got to earn his stripes. He's got to learn just like the rest of us. And hopefully he will. Hopefully he will. And by the end of his 4 years of presidency, he'll understand things at the level of Michael Saylor and others.
That's right. Well, we have a quotation here from the Chainlink community liaison, Zach Rhines. Before I get to it, you might be listening to this and being like, no, I thought Donald Trump is a kind of a crypto expert. Listen, he's getting there, right? It doesn't happen overnight. You do have to work at this. Tim and I were both in Nashville when Donald Trump gave his speech at the Bitcoin convention. I will tell you, he knows how to use the word Bitcoin. He knows how to curry the favor of those in the crowd. And, he's obviously a very talented and gifted public speaker. But when it comes to understanding Bitcoin, it takes time. It genuinely does. If you're watching and listening to the sound of my voice and you're only a month or two into investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto, you yourself are along with that journey. And, you're definitely not as busy of a person as President Donald Trump. So just imagine trying to integrate and assimilate all the knowledge that there really needs to be to get into Bitcoin when you're somebody as busy as he is. Let's hear from Zach Rhines over on my screen. He said this: with Trump's World Liberty Financial DeFi platform adopting the Chainlink standard for data and cross-chain connectivity earlier this year, the recent on-chain purchase of 1 million Chainlink only further strengthens the long-term alignment between the two ecosystems. That was Chainlink community liaison Zach Rhines. He goes on to say, as the new administration brings regulatory clarity for crypto in the U.S., Chainlink and WorldFi are well positioned to scale DeFi to the masses in a way never seen before. That is a very, very bullish statement coming from the Chainlink liaison. And I got to say, it definitely gets something stirred up in me and makes me feel a little bit underallocated to Chainlink, even though it's one of my top holdings.
Yeah.
And it's something we've been saying for a while, is that you may not be bullish enough on Chainlink.
It's very hard. It's very hard to feel like you have enough. Now, I don't have any more room in my portfolio. I need to dedicate myself to other things. That's just my chart. We'll go look at Chainlink here in just a second. But I agree with you 100%, T-shirt. Very hard to feel like you have enough Chainlink. There's going to still be people sleeping on it. I see people in chat saying that we're about to enter a very long, boring zone. I don't think so. Can we correct? Can we pull back? We absolutely could. But I think people are still not fully prepared, fully ready for just how bullish Chainlink's going to be, how bullish a lot of these other coins are going to be. Again, I say this, I'm really speaking to newer investors and potentially older investors who are willing to listen. Not everyone is willing to update how they think about things and how they do things. I want to really caution people to be weary of the 2021 trauma decision-making tactic when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency. You might be saying, Tim, what do you mean? In 2021, it's most of us watching here. It was our first bull market. I'm sure there's a couple people watching who were in before me and T-Shroom and Smay. That's great. And then you guys might be able to help back this up. But for the most of us, the first bull market we ever encountered was 2021. But how much did you study the bull markets before then? How much did you study the bull market of 2017, the bull market of 2013? Have you only really focused on what happened in 2021? And unfortunately, what happens there is a lot of people take what happened in 2021 and act as if we're going to see an exact replica, an exact copy of that happening in the year 2025, in which case they feel confident saying, guys, all this bullishness is about to end, or it's not going to be as bullish as you think. We might have one more good pump, and then it's all going to go downhill. Why? Because that's what kind of happened in 2021. We topped out in May, had a massive pullback, over 50% in Bitcoin, some altcoins more than 70%, all because Elon Musk sold Bitcoin, was worried about the environmental impact that Bitcoin mining had, and we had a massive correction during a bull market, one we've never seen in the history of the crypto rallies. Well, then we rallied again, had a lot of suppression. We've even seen evidence coming out in the last couple of days that we had full-blown manipulation from the government telling banks, telling other institutions not to hold or deal with crypto whatsoever. It was massive, massive, massive suppression. The only difference this bull market is now the same entities that were selling / shorting and manipulating the entire space back in 2021, they're buying. And there's some that aren't even buying yet, but they're going to buy when they see a little bit more pump. Most of you, if you're living with 2021 trauma, are going to sell too early, way too low. You're going to, I'm not faulting you, take profit. You never go broke taking profit. But don't be surprised when Bitcoin and Ethereum and Chainlink and Solana and XRP and these others possibly 2x your expectations, maybe some of them even 3xing or going higher. We got a long way to go in this bull market to the upside. We are just getting going. With that said, let's take a look at the chart here with Chainlink and AAVE as we're talking about two big coins for the next little bit. Let's start with a very macro perspective here. Let's go all the way out towards the weekly chart where we have set a new market high here over the last 2 weeks in Chainlink, surpassing the highs we had back in March when we rallied up towards $23. We've gotten as high this week as $29.47. We have a target up here we're looking for the next major level of resistance coming in at the low end around $37, $38, high end back towards all-time highs of $54. But between now and then, the question is, can we keep going or are we hitting some major levels of resistance? Well, I'll start off by saying, of course, we are hitting some resistance that we faced back in January of 2022. But if that breaks through, that's what takes us up to that $38 mark, the resistance of November 2021, where other coins are creating all-time highs. Let's take a look at the oscillators. Let's take a look at indicators and see what's happening on these longer time frames. Now, we got a buy signal here not that long ago. We talked about it very heavily on this channel. We talked about the reversal that came in, the positive momentum, and finally our money flow flipped bullish here early in November. And if you purchased on that weekly buy signal, you wouldn't have gotten the bottom perfectly, but you would have bought in here around $10.92. We have more than doubled that, getting close to tripling that in the last month and a half alone. And while we are overextended here, you can see we're up above 91 on the Luxago oscillator. We are seeing a red reversal. We're not seeing the loss of momentum. We're not seeing broken money flow. We're seeing the MACD, as high as it is, continuing to build momentum to the upside. This, to me, is screaming that, yes, we're overextended, but we're not close to reversal just yet. If we start to pull up, even though we have our take profits happening here, my anticipation of what we're going to see for a big reversal, Shroom, is going to be some form of bearish divergence. What this means is we will need some form of a correction, probably coming back down towards $22, $20, okay? Small correction when it's all said and done. Then we'll rally up higher. We'll rally up here towards 38, maybe get up here closer to 50 in that same timeline on the weekly chart. And this is what we're kind of probably going to be looking for early in January for a correction. We're probably going to want to see, or we're going to see these oscillators fall back down and set up lower highs. And that's going to be a reason to potentially take some short-term profits, look for a decent dip, and buy more Chainlink in bulk. Bearish divergence. This is going to be something you're wanting to wait for major corrections. We had to wait on it back here in March. Notice during all this rally, we got overextended. Look at all of our oscillators right here. Oops, if I can grab this correctly. We're overextended, but we had to wait for a small correction, a second rally, and lower highs to come in on the RSI and the Luxago oscillator, get that bearish divergence, and now we could have our major pullback. Same thing happened back here in the bull market. We did not top out until actually double bearish divergence. Back here, if you're looking at this move, when we corrected in February of 2020, we didn't do that until bearish divergence. Bearish divergence on the weekly chart is going to be the big indicator that it's time to take profits, walk away for a little bit, look for a good dip, and then buy back in. Bull market top, I'm going to tell you later about that one, where I think Chainlink's going long-term by the end of 2025. What I'm talking about is what are we looking for to sell maybe sometime in January, maybe sometime early Q1, and to get a good pullback and to buy more. We're looking for bearish divergence, and we do not have even the beginning of it happening right now. Very, very bullish on this coin on these longer time frames. Let's take a look at the other big coin that's happening today. The big coin people are talking about that we have Donald Trump buying, and it's going berserk. Where is it? It's AAVE right here. AAVE breaking a very key level of resistance that's been in play all the way since back here in July of 2023. This has been a rising level of resistance, but here, after kind of wrestling with it last week, we told you, we told this in one of our Q&As with our members. We told them to watch this breakout. This could be extremely explosive. We had a little bit of a fake out, drop back down below, but now confident breakout here in AAVE above a bearish trend line. Let's look at the oscillator, see what's going on. Big momentum here. I mean, 100% overbought on the RSI. We are hitting 80 on the RSI, but we had a lot of room to the upside with both the MACD and the Luxago oscillator. This is another one. We got a buy signal. We got a buy signal way back here. Back in August is when we got this buy signal. If you had bought back in August, ooh, that would have been beautiful. You'd have bought back here at $79. We're now over 361. Over a 3x there, pushing closer towards a 4x for your investment there. But we're not even close on the weekly charts to hitting those reversals. We got a momentary one right here with bearish momentum and a small pullback, but the price action, the oscillator pullback, the price action really didn't. And what we're seeing here with these new highest highs, same thing that I'm going to be watching for on Chainlink. We're going to be looking for bearish divergence to really give us a top here. That means we're going to, at some point, I'm not saying it's going to happen right now. At some point, we're going to see a little bit of a top here, a pullback, maybe correct back to this resistance level, turn it into support, and then higher highs down the road, giving us the bearish divergence. But let's look at indicators here and see what's happening to hitting our take profit on that weekly chart. Maybe we'll see something different here on the daily. Nope, 2 daily. Yeah, nothing. We're kind of overextended at the moment, but until those oscillators turn on us, I'm not going to necessarily count anything bearish. Let's go back out to that weekly chart and look at former levels of resistance to keep an eye on. I think this range right in here is going to be very important. The highs of August 2021 and November 2021 both topped out here around $440, $450. That is going to be something that people have placed their sell signals on for certain. So keep an eye on that level. That's where I think potentially the first rejection could happen. We easily could reject up there on that level, pull back down, turn former resistance into support, and then continue our way to the upside to brand new all-time highs and potential bearish divergence that tells you that's the time to take profit. But AAVE, extremely bullish right now. This is a coin I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys because later on in the show, we're going to talk about 5 coins that I still believe have a 10x left in the tank from here. AAVE is one of those coins extremely close. It's not going to quite be there. We're looking at more like a 9x on AAVE. Still a great return on your investment if you're looking for the future, but potentially becomes a 10x soon if we can pull back down here closer towards $300. Kind of puts us in a range. I'm not going to give you the exact number, but we're looking at a range on the high end of AAVE's potential at being close to $3,000 or a little over $3,000 per coin. Well, guess what? If you bought right now at 361, that wouldn't quite qualify you for a 10x, but it is one of the ones I'd put as an honorable mention that would be close. But with that said, we're going to go off this. Is there any more news to go into before we do some Q&A and then get into our 5 big coins that still have 10x left in them, T-Shroom?
Yeah, absolutely. We got one more story here. It's a little bit of a technical story getting into inflation metrics. If you go to my screen here, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has revised October PPI inflation higher from 2.4% to 2.6%. Keep in mind, this is a revision, not a new print. Also, core PPI inflation from October has been revised higher from 3.1 to 3.4. Cutting to the chase here, CPI, PPI, and PCE inflation are all officially back on the rise in the United States. This is the PPI inflation chart. It rises to highest level since February of 2023. Of course, during the pandemic, it reached much higher levels into the double digits of percentage. So we're not quite anywhere near that kind of carnage, but we are we have now breached those February 2023 levels. We will continue to monitor this. Technically, this would be a tick in the direction of Jerome Powell may not cut in December 18th, the next Fed decision. I'm still sitting here thinking he will. And I didn't have Polymarket pulled up, but I can actually pull that up quickly. And it is still a 95% chance that he will cut by 25 basis points in December 18th. So turns out to be a nothing burger. But if you're out there, still buying groceries, paying for gas, buying things in the United States, you are continuing to see those prices accelerate. So I know I am. So there's got to get a hold on it. Trump's got to get in there and start to fix it. We'll see.
I think something to be aware of, because some people are going to say now that inflation is going back towards the upside, right? So we saw inflation numbers slightly go higher, but PPI is one of the metrics of that. People are going to start asking, does this mean the Fed is going to start pivoting back into either at least pausing, if not cutting rates again? Well, at the moment, which let me refresh this one real quickly because it wait on me. There you go. Go back to my screen here, Smay. This is not necessarily the case. December 18th is when we're going to be finding out, or I think the meeting's starts on the 18th. I think it might be the 19th by the time we hear it. Could be wrong. Fact check me on that one. Maybe it is the 18th. Okay. 94.7% of CME futures is still predicting a 25 basis point cut, right? Yeah. If this was lower towards like 75 or 60%, I would say, hey, it looks like there's still some consideration on if they're going to pause or not. We are less than a week away at this point from our next Fed rate cut, and it's very much looking like we're going to see a cut. What I'm interested to see, what happens in January. End of January, we'll have another meeting, and at the moment, they're leaning at the moment towards a pause in January, but we'll see how that develops. But as it stands right now, we're still cutting. And the reason why, and people need to understand how we're going to read these metrics from here on out, you got to remember that the Fed has a dual mandate. What I mean by a dual mandate is there's two things that they are responsible for at all times, and they raise and lower rates based off of trying to help both of them. When you go back to 2022, the reason we started raising rates is because inflation was getting out of control. And you might be saying, Tim, inflation is going up again now. Does that mean we're going to start raising rates again? The answer is no. Because if you go back to 2022, unemployment was not a problem. And the dual mandate that the Fed has is they want to keep unemployment low and they want to keep inflation low. Well, if unemployment is low and inflation starts to rise, they will go ahead and start raising rates. However, as unemployment starts to go to the upside, and we are seeing that come in, we're seeing more and more reports show stress in the job market, despite the fact that we're in a time of the year where usually jobs are picked up in bulk because it's holiday season. With us seeing stress on the job market, that dual mandate, despite the fact that inflation is going up, will cause them to continue to lower or stay paused, to not raise rates because they want to fight unemployment. So we're in a very different camp. And in that world where we can't we can't raise rates, but inflation is going to the upside, that means every dollar sitting in your pocket, every dollar sitting in your bank account is losing value by the second. What should you do with it? You need to turn it into something that's more valuable, something that has firmer money. That's Bitcoin, that's crypto. This is very bullish for the crypto charts. What could make crypto go down? Well, if we all of a sudden tackle unemployment, if we start to actually have good numbers there, but we still have high inflation, then all of a sudden that's what's going to turn, and we're going to see the Fed start to look to raise interest rates once again. Could be the next big signal for a bear market in crypto. I think what's going to happen, if we're being very real, I think that's not going to happen until at least 2026, if not 2027. Tell me if you disagree. I think there's people out there that think it could happen early quarter one or quarter two of 2025, but I don't see a world in which we see Donald Trump in the first year of his presidency cause a recession, cause a major problem by raising interest rates once again, causing more unemployment to come in. It's not going to happen. He's going to use tools at his disposal, which he has, to stop that from happening. The Fed is going to use tools at their disposal, which they have, to stop that from happening. What does that mean? Things are going to get more expensive. Inflation is going to continue to go up, but so will the price of crypto. I urge you guys, prepare yourself accordingly. make sure you're invested in cryptocurrency. But let me know in the comments if you disagree with any part of that take. Teacher Room, are you ready to go ahead and get into some Q&A time and look at some coins that people want to take a look at? We'll look at a couple. We'll get a couple here, and then we're getting into my 5 coins that still have a 10x potential from here. But let's start it off with Graph, GRT. I got to go type in, but people were asking yesterday about Graph and
Definitely heard
RWE.
of that one. Yep.
Let's go take a look. GRT USD. Go to the Coinbase chart. Take a look at what's happening here. I'm going to go to the daily chart here. The weekly chart. Oh, let me take a look at it real quickly. Yeah, not a lot happening. We had a good buy signal back here on the weekly chart. We're not anywhere close to being overextended here. So I really want to get down to where maybe some things are being communicated. And sure enough, on the daily chart, we're seeing some signs of overextended markets that need to sell off. Number one thing here, we have a red reversal bearish momentum, and that's negative money flow. It's also, you see that light green, the excessive buyers that Luxago's oscillator shows us, they're starting to come to the downside. That does mean this is a market that probably wants to pull back. Well, I was going to say to their smart trail, that's what they've already done. If we continue to pull back, because it looks like we're just getting started with that pullback, I'm still going to keep an eye around 22, potentially as low as 17 cents. But for more on that, I want to pull up the liquidation chart. This is one of the Bros specialized indicators you only get if you purchase the Bros indicator. Link down below. Let's go to a lower time frame, like the 1 hour, and kind of see what's happening. We really don't have a whole lot of pressure to sell down here. So we sell off, it's just going to be complete weakness. Traders will have incentive to come back down towards 27, 26 cents as you do see some long liquidations down below us. But as I look at these lower time frames, we're not ready for a buy signal just yet, but we are preparing probably for some form of a bounce here. So take this with a grain of salt here when we talk about the longer time frames want to sell off, but there's just not a lot of targets to the downside on these lower time frames. If this does happen, the daily chart giving us a sell signal, giving us a pullback potential that could, again, come back down here towards 20, 22 cents. That could take over a week to happen. That's something that we could continue to see a small bounce, a small shuffle, a sideways drag here on the graph. But it is something to be aware of that the daily chart, the weekly chart's kind of in neutral zone, meaning it's not necessarily over bullish, but it's not necessarily overly bearish as well. It can really kind of ride for a couple of weeks. The daily chart is the one that concerns me, that this pullback might not quite be over, that we need to go down a little bit lower before this one continues. So if I was you guys looking for another entry and I saw 20 cents on the exchange, I'd be looking to gobble up some graph at those levels. I'm not saying that you guys should invest in graph. If you guys don't like it fundamentally, that's completely up to you guys. I'm just saying if you love it, you want to buy more, I have a good feeling that 21, 22, 20 cents area right in here is going to be hit in the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look at RWeave real quickly. That was the other one. And then we'll get into our 5 coins that we want to take a look at. RWeave USD. Let's go to Binance here. Take a quick look out here at the weekly chart. See what's kind of going on. We had a trade back in here not that long ago. I think that one hit, but I can't remember that one, honestly. Let's go back in here and see. We've rejected on the weekly chart smart trail. That is something that's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on. We had these buy signals, these rallies a couple of weeks ago, but that's a major level of resistance. It's one of the things I love about Luxago. I love these very clear levels of support and resistance. These smart trails are major targets when you go back to them. At the moment, that is very bearish that we've rejected there. If RWeave can get above there, then all of a sudden we got a long room to the upside. But as long as we stay below the weekly smart trail, you got to keep your eye on bigger pullbacks to the downside. I'm going to assume we had a bearish signal back in here where we did see red reversal, bearish momentum, and negative money flow. We've come back already to the smart trail, but similar to the graph, I'm curious to see if we make a bigger pullback down towards $17 where we do have take profit levels. We're kind of in a middle range here on the daily chart. Oscillators, we're not necessarily ready to declare this support is going to hold up or if we need to go below it. So we are kind of in watch mode, but this is going to be the bigger concern. Not a lot of liquidations up above us to target for traders. They're going to be watching these levels down here. And there's a big chunk down here at $19. There's an even bigger chunk all the way down here in the middle of the take profit daily chart down at 15.5. For more on that, let me go to a slightly lower time frame and check out what it is saying. A lot more here on 21 and lower time frame. So this is another one. Keep an eye on RWeave for the next couple of weeks. While we did have bullish weekly and daily charts, they have cooled off here more recently. And until we see some positivity on those longer time frames, these smaller time frames are showing us we absolutely could be ranging, slightly dipping a little bit lower here. Again, I would keep my eyes on at least coming back down towards 20, if not 19 to 16, 15 cents is going to be an area to look for RWeave potential back to the upside. This is nowhere near as bullish as we've seen some other coins more recently. RWeave and Graph both kind of trickling here, that neither one of them with an explosive move more recently, just kind of casually bouncing back up after a big fall. These are going to be coins that I'm just going to tell you guys, be weary of, be careful, because while it did have a very explosive early 2024, and that's a good sign, it really hasn't been a big mover since the November elections, and that's going to be an indicator that these coins might not have the most adoption for the rest of the bull market. Does that mean they can't rally? Does that mean we won't see new all-time highs? I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying these are not going to be your most explosive coins, at least how they've performed so far over the last couple of weeks and months. So there's your graph and RWeave technical analysis. You can go off my screen here for a second as we introduce our next topic. It's time for a section. I wanted to put this out for a little bit. I put a tweet out a couple of days ago, T-Shroom, and it was the 5 coins that I'm still watching right now that have 10x potential left in this bull market. Doesn't mean that the only 5 coins. In fact, you guys go ahead and start dropping in the chat, in the comments, what coins are you still looking forward to for 10x potential in this bull market? But this is my list that I want to go through and tell you what coins I'm still expecting a 10x return on before the bull market top ends. To be fair, I'm not even going to go with my extended bull market prediction on this one. I'm not talking about waiting until the end of 2026. If we were to do that, then a lot more coins open up as potential for 10x's. But if you're somebody who is looking to take profit, probably sometime this time next year, maybe a little earlier in October of 2025, here are 5 coins that still have a very good chance of making that list to the upside. Starting with coin number 1, it's not going to surprise that many of you. It is Chainlink. We talked about Chainlink a lot today. Chainlink is moving up here to number 12. It's over $25 again. We briefly touched 29. I did a lot of technical analysis on it earlier on in the show, but something I want to kind of keep your eyes on as we look at the fundamental details of it. Chainlink's made some major moves here and has gotten up to a $17 billion market cap. But if we're going to see a 10x, we need to see this coin go a whole lot higher. Well, if you guys have watched anything on this show, we have talked very much about Chainlink making its way not just to a 10x, but possibly even up closer towards a 20x. For more on that, let's go back over the Chainlink chart and take a look at what we have going on. For your information, Chainlink, I do believe, is going to have a market cap somewhere in the world this time next year, $300 to $330 billion. So when you kind of look at the details there, 17 billion to 330 billion, that's a big jump. But more importantly, the circulating supply currently at 626 million coins. We're probably looking at that being somewhere around 685 million coins, which gives us the price, and we've talked about this on the video before, up above $400. It's actually 481. I'm going to move this down here just a little bit. 481 is still the zone we're looking at for Chainlink. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a very safe 10x. In fact, it's a 17x here from here on out to hit the target for next year. Again, 10x potential. If we're looking for 10x, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say 485 is a little too high. How high do we need to get for Chainlink to hit a 10x? We would need to hit $283 at the moment from right now. If you purchase this second to get a 10x potential, Chainlink, I think, is going to smash that. It might even be a little higher. It might be pushing towards a 20x from prices right now. But that's my first coin that I am watching and saying, hey, keep an eye on this coin. It's going to have a very good bull market. Coin number 2, it's going to be coin a little lower on the charts, but making some splashing noises here. It's going to be SUI or SUI. Now, our audience voted on this pronunciation, SUI. You guys have said you want us to pronounce it SUI. I do believe the team that created it pronounces it SUI. But I'm here. I'm a Democratic man, right? I listen to the voice of the people, and you guys have voted SUI. So that's what I'm going to say the rest of this video. SUI is another coin that I do believe has 10x potential left in it. This coin currently has a market cap of $13 billion, a circulating supply of 2.92 billion tokens in circulation. But what could happen in the next little bit, or again, this time next year? SUI's market cap, I do believe, is going to jump from 13.5 billion all the way up towards 165 billion. I think this is a top 20 coin that's going to stay around, number 16, number 15, keeping itself around a 1.5% dominance. It could go even a little higher, I do believe. But we're going to have a market cap of 165 billion, a circulating supply roughly somewhere around 3.2 billion tokens, and that gives us a price prediction for SUI all the way up at $50. $50. Currently trading at 463. You can already do some quick math and say, all right, well, that means we definitely have a 10x potential. But what does that look like to the dot? If $50 does happen, we would see, if you bought SUI at this very moment, roughly an uptick of 10.8%, 10.8x, right? So not quite an 11x, but over 10x. 10x on the dot would be $46, but I do believe $50 is on the table this time next year for SUI. That puts us at kind of just a barely, just squeaks in there by the skin of his teeth. SUI is another 10x potential here. When I made our predictions before, even when this video was released, the price per coin was actually down here below $4. Or when I made the post on X. But this is another one. I know it's been rallying like crazy. I know some of you are going to say, hey, Tim, I don't know if that coin can do it. It's already rallied so much. Do not sleep on SUI or SUI, whatever you want to call it. I see some of you saying it's not going to break $20. This is a coin. This is a project that's got a lot of backing, a lot of momentum. Do not sleep on SUI. It's my second coin that I absolutely believe could have a 10x left in this bull market. But let's keep going on. Let's look at another one. We're going to go to the world of AI, and we're going to take a look at, if I can find it, Render. Currently number 33. But Render's had a little bit of a wave here more recently. It's been making a little bit of a move, currently hovering a little bit below $10 with a market cap of just under $5 billion, a circulating supply of 517 million. Okay. What are the expectations for Render? Well, if it does everything we think it could do, get into the top 20, maybe have a 0.5% dominance, that would have a market cap in the world of 55 billion. Okay, so we go from just under 5 to 55 billion. The circulating supply would go from 517 million to 525 million, giving us a price prediction of $105 per Render token. Let's go take a look at the chart, see what that would mean. There we go. Let me get rid of that for a second. $105 for Render. It's very easy. Already you can see it with simple math. 960 to 105. That is more than a 10x, but just how close is it? I can get this line put in there. Boom. This would give us, if you bought Render today, a price increase, an increase of, again, just similar like SUI, just under is 9.9, 9.8, give or take 11x here. A 10x on this coin would put us somewhere in the range of $97, just short, of course, of our $100 mark. But that's what we're watching happen right now. Again, another coin just making it by the skin of its teeth. But Render is one of the hottest AI tokens. It has a very good relationship with NVIDIA. I do believe this is another coin that has, just barely, but it does, a 10x potential left in it. For the last two, we're going to go a little bit riskier here. Some of you are not going to like this pick. Others are going to love it. But I remain extremely bullish on this project, despite the fact that it's not listed on two of the largest exchanges in the world. Of course, I am talking about KASPA. Where did KASPA go on here? Here we go. Down to number 40 at the moment. Let's look at the details here. This coin currently with a market cap of 4.1 billion, circulating supply of 25 billion. This coin currently listed at 16 cents. Well, just how bullish could KASPA get? I'm very bullish on KASPA. This is a coin that I still think is at least a top 20, potentially top 15 coin. I think we can get somewhere in the world of a 1% dominance and a market cap as high as $110 billion per coin. Again, that there alone is a 25x from its current market cap. The supply also is not going to be crazily increased. It's going to go from 25.3 all the way up to 26.5 billion tokens, giving us a price prediction for KASPA in the world of $4.16. Let's go take a look at that chart and see just how crazy bullish that is if you bought today. Again, we're not talking about $1, not $2. We're talking about 416. I got to move some levels here around just a little bit. Let's raise this one, 416. If you bought this today, and we're right about this level, we're looking at a price increase of a 25.5x in price action. Maybe KASPA's not that bullish. Maybe you're saying, Tim, that's way too high. Well, how high would we need to get a 10x on the dot? We'd have to drop it down here, down towards $1.65. $1.65 is all we need to get a 10x here on KASPA. And I'm sitting here predicting I think we go a lot higher. I think we're heading up above $4. Let me know in the chat what your thoughts are about KASPA. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know. I'm bullish. It's one of my big holdings, and I'm thinking that's going to make me a very wealthy man over the next year. Let's look on the last one, though. The last coin of the day that's going to be giving you a 10x that I want to keep an eye on. We're going to get risky with this one. Again, this is not going to be a top 10 pick, not top 20 pick. We're going all the way down here out of the top 50, believe it or not. I spent a lot of my time analyzing the top 50. This is a coin I've had my eye on for a while, and I'm very, very bullish on. It's none other than JASMY coin right here. JASMY coin has my attention. This is one of my riskier picks, meaning I'm not necessarily certain. Like if you would ask me of all these coins, which ones I'm certain about doing 10Xs, I'm putting JASMY, at number 5. It's the one that has the risky take, but it also potentially could have some of the biggest upside of any crypto out there. Why? Well, currently only trading at a $2 billion market cap, right? Very, very small at the moment, despite the fact that it's one of the top altcoins traded in Japan and across a lot of Asia loves JASMY. I think JASMY has a very big, big role to the upside. Here's the other good part about it. Currently, circulating supply, 49.39 billion, okay? But the total supply that will ever be is 50 billion. So we're already very close to the max supply we'll ever see. This one was really hard to find out where this time next year the supply is going to be at. So I kind of just speculated and put out a number that probably is a little high, just I wanted to be more conservative with this prediction. But it would have a supply of roughly 49.75 billion. I kind of split the difference, getting up closer to 50 billion. We won't have total supply yet, but we'll be very, very close. Well, this is also one that I'm sitting here saying, all right, I think this coin's going to do very, very well. How high will this market cap get? On the low end, I think this coin is like a number 30 coin, about a 0.25% dominance. On the high end, I think it's maybe a top 20 coin, sitting around a 0.5% dominance. Somewhere right in that range. That would give us market cap splits of somewhere between 30 billion and 50 billion. And I'm going to give you the price levels for both of them, but 30 billion to $50 billion market cap divided by just under a 50 billion token supply. What does that give us price prediction for JASMY? Let's go take a look at its chart, and let's go ahead and put the first level up here. Got a lot of different marks on this list, but let's take a look. The low range right here is 60 cents, right? So if we only get to a $30 billion market cap, it's the lower end of my prediction. This would still, from a current purchase right now, give us a 14.5x. That's 1,350% gain. A 10x would be if JASMY only made it up here towards about 42 cents. But in my estimation right now, I think the low end, $30 billion for JASMY, 60 cents is on the table. On the high end, we're looking up here closer towards $1. If we get to $50 billion in market cap, we got $1 JASMY, in which case a purchase right now would take us from being not just a 13x, but a 23, almost 24x on the table still for JASMY. It is a big, big potential coin that could be hitting very, very bullish levels here in the next year and some change. But again, even if I'm wrong, even if I'm way too bullish, we still have a very easy road to a 10x for this coin, JASMY. With that, you can go off my screen here, Smay. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, what do you guys think about my list of 5 coins that can still 10x from here? How many of them do you hold? How many of them do you need to hold? And if you wanted to replace any of them, what would you replace them with? Hit that like, hit subscribe. Let's go to chat here and see what you guys are saying. T-Shroom, first of all, let me ask your take on this list of 5. Would you make any changes to this list? Is there anything sticking out to you that I missed out on, or I should have put a different coin in there instead?
No, I'm really glad to see, the coins that are in there. I'd say KASPA is far and away, one of my favorites. Chainlink, obviously, but there's some in there that I'm a little bit not. I wouldn't say I'm bearish on them. Definitely not bearish, but render. I'm not one to be overly allocated to that. I've
Right.
actually sold off my render. That is just because I don't have a ton of faith in the AI narrative when it comes to crypto. AI in general, very bullish. Obviously, it's the technology of the future in so many different ways. But I
Hmm.
think render and crypto may not may not be the most compatible technologies moving into the future. Other than that, though, I do still think that regardless of my thesis on render, I do think it'll still have quite a bit of upside. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that that is one. If you told me to take one that I am the most worried about, I told you Jasmy's risky, but again, I think you got a lot of wiggle room with Jasmy. If you told me there was one coin that I was going to be worried potentially about, it'd be render, because the AI space is still such a speculative space. That being said, I think that render could have a very special bull market moving forward. I still think there's room for it to go to the upside. And again, I think that if you track where it's ranked and where it could be ranked at the end, a 10x again, still very, very highly possible for render. It's just the one I'd probably put as the weakest of my top five. I saw a couple of people saying remove CASPA because I can't get it. That's probably because, again, like I said, it's not listed on Coinbase or Binance. I'll tell you where you could get it. If any of you guys are in the links down below, CoinW is one of our exchange partners, and you can buy spot CASPA on CoinW today. I recommend going over there. That's where I hold it at the moment, where I have my nice bag of CASPA. But I completely understand. Uphold is another option that you guys can go buy it with as well. But yeah, I would definitely find a way to buy some Caspa. I think that it would be nicer if you could go get it on Coinbase. But I'll tell you this: one of the reasons why I still think it's going to do like a 20x or more is because when it gets listed on Coinbase or Binance, it's going to shoot up. It's going to shoot up when we hear that it's going to be listed. Like we're not, it's not listed yet, but we're waiting for it. It's going to shoot up in price, and then definitely when it gets listed, people will be buying it up, and it'll be too late to get a 10x even probably at that point on it. So that's one for sure. I saw somebody else say to replace something with Peanut. Oh, Peanut. Peanut making a small comeback here, but not even making higher highs and higher lows. So I don't know what I think too much about Peanut being a 10x from here. Don't recommend. I do not recommend putting heavy amounts of meme coins in your portfolio. I don't really consider Doge or Pepe meme coins. I know they technically are, but they are coins with a lot of momentum and a big, big community. We're looking at little meme coins. We're looking at smaller ones. So volatile, so crazy. There's no real way to predict when their tops will be, right? They're not going to follow the crypto markets purely. So it's very speculative investing and trading. For all I know, Peanut will 10x. It's just gonna be very hard to know when the top is actually in on a coin like that. Moho says always with the Peanut hate Tim. I don't hate Peanut. In fact, RIP Peanut. I just don't want to invest in that coin. It's just too risky to me. There's so many other good options out there that can make me money. I don't need to go. I don't need to go digging down there with peanut coins.
All right. Yeah. Before we get into the factoid of the day, I just wanted to bring to you all a really cool opportunity that we're going to be doing. It's for the first time on Saturday. It's going to be a webinar, and you're invited to come. Everybody who's listening to the sound of my voice can attend. There's a link down in the description of this video to that webinar where we're going to be talking to the founder and CEO of Property Stewards, Mark Holloway. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look, we here at the Investing Bros, we are under no delusion that investing in crypto can be very, very profitable. You may be somebody out there who's invested, a couple $1,000s and are looking at what this could be off of these price predictions and what historical prices could indicate your investment could be, and you're thinking, man, that's going to be quite a bit of money. Not quite enough to retire, but it could be enough to invest in a new business. So if you're interested in starting a new business, go ahead and join our webinar. If you go to my screen, it'll be on at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December the 14th. So it's going to be this weekend, this Saturday. Make sure you check it out. It's going to be through the Zoom app, so you'll be able to easily access it with that. And we'll be talking about a great way to potentially allocate some of the profits you've been making in crypto or just starting a new business in general. So it would be excited to see you there at noon on the 14th.
There we go. Well, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to kind of wrap out the show here with the factoid of the day. Smainold, it's time for you to come back up here on stage. What do you got for us today? You've been throwing us some curveballs here recently. What do you got for us today?
Well, first of all, hello, everybody. Tim, I just want to say real quick that I have made a real effort to make this even harder for you. So
I believe it.
It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's go head on into the stock exchange. This is our factoid of the day, and I will read it. Which of the following is not a significant milestone in the development of modern stock markets? A. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange, founded in 1602, became the first stock exchange to trade shares of a publicly listed company, the Dutch East India Company. B. The Bretton Woods Agreement of 1792 formalized stock trading in New York City, laying the foundation for what became the New York Stock Exchange. C. The creation of the South Sea Company in 1711 was pivotal in establishing stock trading standards and regulations in England. And D. The Securities Act of 1933 was introduced to increase transparency in stock trading and prevent fraud following the 1929 stock market crash. Alrighty.
It's
a tough one.
You do not go easy on us. I'm pretty sure D is accurate there. But here's the problem, right? So the details, I feel like Smay is the type of person who he found all four of these answers, right? And all four of them are very close to being true. But then he went in and like changed a date or changed the number, and it would be impossible to know which one of them was false, right?
No. Let me help you out here, because you are trying to question my integrity here, Tim. And here's what I have to say. Here's what I'm gonna say. All these are real. Like, nothing has been changed. So everything here, the question is, what was not a significant milestone?
I know.
So this is all historical fact, dates and everything. So now you basically are judging which one had the least effect.
Okay, well, real quickly. Did all four of these things happen?
Yes.
It's just one of them wasn't okay.
Yes,
okay.
that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes it even harder.
All of these things
I thought I knew the right answer until you said that.
All of these things actually happened. You're basically determining which of these was just like a non-issue in the history of the stock market.
Seems like there's some subjectivity here, though.
No. This was all AI.
Just be honest with us there.
Okay.
All right.
I think I'm going to go B. Since it's a shot in the dark anyway, I'm going to go with what I originally thought was the right answer.
Well, I thought you guys knew about the history of the stock market. What's going on?
Well, I don't think it's B. I was leaning towards A, honestly. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange. I mean, all of them could be legitimately there. I don't know what the Bretton Woods Agreement is, but if it's laying the foundation for what became the New York Stock Exchange, I would imagine that's pretty instrumental in the development of the modern stock market.
Yeah, maybe
so I'm gonna
you
go
would
A.
imagine
I'm
that.
gonna go A.
But so Tim, I'm not trying to change your answer here, but you're going with A, the one that is the first ever stock exchange. I think that kind of matters for the modern stock exchange. Okay, but that's fine.
You're influencing.
I am.
Yeah.
That. You're right. Well, all right. Without further ado.
Let's see. I was literally thinking right before, I was like, if it's not A or B, it's C.
It is
the
C.
creation of the South Sea Company in 17 was pivotal, establishing stock trading standards and regulating England. So England just doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it says so here's the answer. The reason why it is not significant. The creation of the South Sea Company in 1711 is infamous for its speculative bubble and collapse, but it did not establish significant stock trading standards or regulations. Instead, it highlighted the need for such measures. So basically, these are a bunch of goobers. They were absolute goobers, and they did nothing to help the stock world, the stock market. So,
there you go.
Yeah, with that, I gotcha. I stumped you.
That was a rough one. That was definitely hard. As we're wrapping it out, Sahil Kakar said no 10x for ADA. Listen, man, if you'd asked me that just a couple of weeks ago, I got you. We're good. I don't think Cardano's going to $12 or $11 at this point. Cardano's currently trading at 11, 12. I really think somewhere he's 7 and 10. Right, I've gone back and forth on Cardano. Right, at one point I was 7 to 10, then I kind of went smaller towards like 4 to 7. But now with recent developments, I'm back up to 7 to 10. I would love to see a 10x in Cardano. I would love to see 11, 12, $13 on Cardano. But I had this feeling that $10 is going to be the high end of the range this time next year. Let's talk 2026. Right? If you want to talk 2026, then 10x on Cardano comes back in. But I told you guys on the 10x, we're only talking about the 4-year cycle. You guys like to see the 4-year cycle prediction. So if you're anticipating taking profits next year, I don't think you have a 10x left on the chart for Cardano. You had one a month ago, right? If you bought a month ago, you're good to go. But if you're buying a Cardano right now, don't think a 10x is left. Tell me if you disagree, though. Thank you, RC Moore, for that super chat. Jay Switzer just became a Bros YouTube member. Thank you so much, Jay. You got a green name. You got some stickers you can use also every single Wednesday. Make sure to join into our Discord and join our Bros Times. All of our members from YouTube get to be a part of that. With that said, though, we're going to wrap out today's show. Thank you so much for being with us for another fine day. Again, are the crypto markets pulling back? Yes, they are. But this is all a part of healthy bull markets. I hope you guys stay tuned to each and every single day as we update what the charts look like and what the news looks like, because bull markets can be confusing. Crypto can be confusing, but if you stay engaged every single day, if you invest your time into looking at the patterns and hearing from people that have been around the block a little bit here in the crypto world, you're going to be able to ride out this market and make a lot of money doing so. Stay tuned with us every single day at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that said, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Adios.